Hi guys, for this ballot, I'm going to be evaluating this debate strictly through the use of argumentation fallacies and logical reasoning rather than my personal opinion on the matter and whether I think that celebrity culture is harmful. And yeah, based on this debate, I believe the affirmative side did win, and based on their more logically consistent arguments throughout the debate. So there was a couple of different fallacies that I did notice, especially from the negative side. And the first one that I noticed is that they used hasty generalization in several situations throughout the debate, but there was one in particular that I did notice. In class, we did talk about hasty generalizations is when you make one big generalization based on not a lot of great supporting evidence that back it up. One of the negative speakers throughout this debate claimed that many online creators discuss topics such as mental health, LGBTQ issues, and body positivity, and that that this is definitely beneficial for young people because of the discussion of these issues, which, yeah, I think that is true, but using a few successful creators and influencers just to make this claim about celebrity culture in general is just not very supportive and kind of sees it all as a hasty generalization, and it weakens the overall argument, I believe. I also noticed that in this debate there was a false analogy used. One speaker compared celebrity culture to historical figures and Roman gladiators, and I just think that, I don't know, those situations aren't very fully comparable because a lot of the, I don't know, the current celebrity culture is very centered around social media and online usage, and with Roman gladiators and with historical figures, obviously that wasn't really prevalent. And since there was no proof that these situations are similar enough to support this conclusion, that was a false analogy fallacy. Another one that I observed was the non sequitur, which means that the conclusion doesn't logically follow from the evidence that was provided in the argument. So the negative side in this debate did argue that parents and teachers have the greatest influence on young people. Therefore, celebrity culture and exposure to influencers in the media is not harmful. And while they did use, while they do have, while parents and teachers do have a very big influence on children, that doesn't mean that celebrity culture doesn't, you know what I mean? And so I just think that this conclusion does not follow from the premise at all. But I did see that from the affirmative side that they did avoid most of these major fallacies, and that their speakers did support their claims with a combination of more statistics and research and real world observations rather than just generalizations and comparisons. So they did discuss the pressure surrounding fame, unrealistic expectations among teenagers, especially through TikTok and social media, and the rise of how social media has a big impact on self-image. And they used statistics to back this up, and whether, I don't know, and even if every audience member didn't agree with this, their reasoning was supported with evidence rather than relying on just faulty logic, which was what was happening with the other side. Another thing that I appreciated was that the affirmative side did acknowledge that there are positive celebrities and positive role models on social media. And instead of arguing that all celebrity culture is harmful and bad for the individual, they focused on how there are some good from social media, and recognizing exceptions in the argument kind of helps build their argument a little bit better. And I don't know, they avoid presenting the issue as overly simplistic, I agree, and not really black and white, and that there are some exceptions. But I do think that the affirmative side was not fully free of mistakes in their argument. They relied on very individual examples, I think, throughout the debate. An example being the Logan Paul, who could have kind of been a hasty generalization if they treated one celebrity and their mistakes and how, I don't know, they act and their influence on young people, representing the entire culture. But they did use those examples alongside broader evidence and research rather than relying on them alone. So while the affirmative side did kind of steer in the direction of a hasty generalization, they backed it up a lot better than the negative side. And so overall, I believe the affirmative side did present with a more reasoned position. The negative side committed several important fallacies, as we talked about. Hasty generalization, non sequitur, and false analogy, while the affirmative side avoided this and supported their claims with more research-based things and stronger reasoning. And so for these reasons and all of these fallacies presented, I believe that the affirmative side did win this debate. Thank you.